I'm in the middle, the center. Boom. I'm in the middle, the center.
Good evening. My name is THUDBloem, better known as Dr. Lifescape, and I'm the founder of the Hookup Dinner. I'm anchored by an awesome team. Some of them I can, some of them are not. It's the first time we've been here, and we're so grateful that you guys have come through, and we're hoping that we can build a community out of this. And I would also just like to ask us, can we fill up the seats in front so that people that are like this can be filling the seats in front? That's the question I propose that people that discuss how come on, baby, seats come through. Promise I don't bite, eh? No, guys, I'm not kidding. Good evening. I'm not going to start the program until the time I find. My name is THUDBloem, better known as Dr. Lifescape. I'm the founder of the Hookup Dinner. Two seats here, there's a seat here, there's 3 seats over there. Can come up front, guys? Please. It's the first time we've been here. I'm so grateful that you guys have come through. We're hoping that you can build a community.
Can you go?
All right. How many of you heard about the Hookup Dinner before today or this past week? Just by a show of hands. How did you hear about it? When was this? Last month. What did they tell you? Dating site. Sweet, man. I think that friend is a good reference. Basically, in a nutshell, this platform, and just forgive the feedback. In essence, what we're doing, the conversation that happens in the room here, we share it with the online community. We've got entrepreneurs from as far as Zimbabwe and Botswana that are tuning in, that are watching this live on the net. And we try and do that so that we can spread out the love out there, so that if the Hookup Dinner is not in their city as yet, they can tune in, and if they want to start it, they kind of get the vibe of what's going on out there. And that's why we live stream. I'm not so sure what's happening with the funny feed tonight. I'm hoping we'll sort it out. All right. I don't know whether from the guys that came through that are already RSVP, we're looking for 5 pitches. So normally what happens is that people apply to pitch before the event, like weeks and months in advance. And tonight we decided we'll go the random route and have 5 volunteers wanting to pitch. And in essence what it is you come and stand here in front of an audience. It's not a dragon stand, so you're not getting judged by some crazy experts that are going to try and bring you down and whatnot. You get judged by your own peers. So the people that are in the room here, those are the people that judge you. They rate you, and if they think your idea is great, they will rate it out here. You've got a program in your hand. Does everybody have that? Sweet. So you will see at the very back, you will write the person's name, and if you think the pitch rocked, you will say number 1. You'll just put an X under number 1, which says no thanks. If you think it needs work, put an X under that, and so on and so on. At the end of the night, we tally the votes and we come out with the winner. What is the idea behind it? It's to give a startup entrepreneur an opportunity to stand in front of an audience and validate their idea. We've seen it for ourselves. I don't know if I'm going to say I was, because some people still say I am. I'm a very shy guy. But because I stand in front of people all the time, It has given me the confidence to know my story, to be able to relay my story in a particular way that can be well received by an audience. And that is the essence of it. If you can communicate your idea to an audience, to anybody out there, it means you can sell ice to Eskimos, some people say. So I'm hoping that I can get volunteers. That's why I'm hoping, yeah, there you go. There you go. Names first. So offensive, please just ensure that you write the names. I want to introduce the team. I just wanted to get that out of the way first. So, how many of us are on social media? Okay, social media is broad. How many of us are on Twitter? Okay. It's a nice audience. So if you're on Twitter, follow the Hookup Dinner. It's at the Hookup Dinner on Twitter. The Twitter hashtag for tonight is THUDBloem. THUDBloem as in THUDBloem. What are we doing? We're sharing the conversation with the online community that is not here to experience what could potentially be a hookup in terms of the connections that you make here. And then, what is this hookup? And can we see other people that volunteering to pitch? I saw one hand. Ladies, I'm going to reserve the two for ladies. Come on. I'm only seeing gents here. What's going on? How many of us are entrepreneurs? Just by a show of hands, how many of us are entrepreneurs in the room? How many of us have got ideas that we think we want to start? Lady, I'm selecting. I'd like you to pitch. I'm looking for another lady. Another lady to pitch. How many of us are on social media? Can I randomly? Can I choose you? Come on, share your idea with us. Cool. So just keep your hands up so that offensive can sort you out. Now, to explain who the Hookup Dinner is, we're a network of startups, we're a network of entrepreneurs. We're all in the startup phases of our businesses. We're not really startup anymore. We've been running this race for a while. But when you look at our revenues and our turnover, you would compare us to other startups. And the reason we decided to get together and start doing business with each other and start forming a team that can kind of move this thing forward was because we saw that we could cover some of our deficiencies. Some of those are very well known to SMEs, capacity issues, and peer review mechanisms. Because there's nothing like that in place for the guy that is starting out or the girl that is starting out in business and wants to do something. And in essence, what we've done for ourselves is that we've formed a collective. So in Joburg, there's a team of about 8 startups that have come together, and each of them are specialists. So as you see Denise over here with her video, that's what she specializes in. That's what pays her bills. She does nothing else. As you see Ofensa with his sound over here, that's what he does for a living. Sound production, and in essence, that's what we've done for ourselves. We've said, let's work with specialists. Let's work with anybody that does what they do for a living. So that when a tender comes out or when an opportunity comes up from a big corporate that says, I've got this big media kit for an event and I want it done. These startups that have formed this collective can get together, form a joint venture, and go and deliver. All of a sudden, you don't have a capacity issue, and you can compete against any big corporate that is out there. On top of that, there's something positive about a corporate working with 6 small companies than working with 1 big company. It adds to the economy, it builds that morale around startup businesses and people that are out there. And that's why we do this. We were very intentional about it. So in every city that we get into, we're looking to form these teams. We've got these teams in Durban, in Cape Town, PE, and all over the place, all around the country. We're looking to do the same thing with Joburg. We're hoping that people will volunteer. We've got a standard that we live up to, and we measure against that as to whether this team or the people that have applied to be part of the team can deliver or not. We are powered by SME Kickstart, the enterprise development leg of South African breweries. They make sure that we can get out there as far as possible. We can reach out to as many towns as possible and build these kind of communities wherever we go. And we're hoping that with the kind of connections that happen within the room, we're hoping that we can start thinking differently amongst ourselves. We can stop competing with each other. We can stop not sharing information about valuable things that you might have credible information that could help me as a startup get into a particular department. But it's not of any use to you This kind of community is meant to ensure that you can share those contents with other people. Why? We want to grow. That's the only way to grow the economy, especially black entrepreneurs out there. We're not sharing information with each other, we're not building each other up. We want to make sure that the kind of culture changes. This is why we started something like this. We made sure that let's go against the status quo. Let's do everything that everything is not doing and see whether it's going to take us anywhere or not. And it's pretty easy because the spirit of Ubuntu is something that is inherent with every one of us. So it shouldn't be a difficult thing. Let's share. Let's connect with each other. Let's engage with each other. Let's contribute to each other's success. That's what we do. Are we all good for the night? Welcome, guys. And I'm hoping that we're going to have fun. I'd like to introduce you to some of my team members. This is Ufenze from Renta Sound. He's part of the THUDBloem team, the originating team. That's Denise. She's just recently exited because she's got more business. But whenever we need extra help, we can count on her to come along with us with some of the trips. This is Sandy over here. Sandy is responsible for the brand. She dresses the hookup dinner brand. What you see here, they designed together with her partner, Raksha, who's back in Joburg. She also handles the photography. So if you're looking for somebody within the branding space, she's your best girl. She's a creative. Some of the guys are not in the room. My business partner, Paki, so you will see him just moving around somewhere. He's my co-founder for the hookup dinner. And the hookup dinner is owned by a company called Lifescope Global Investments, which is a company that we founded. And it does a few things. You will see the next time you go for dinner. When the hookup dinner happens, you will not be sitting on chairs like this. You will be sitting on tea bags. That's what we manufacture. That's the kind of environment that we try and create. It's a very formal, very relaxed environment where people can kind of chat about business and whatever that goes on with it. And then there's Otavius, who's also out there. He's part of SAP Case. Some of you might have experienced it. And I'd like to give a huge shout out to this Obi. He's hiding behind the wall here. This guy. And then I've got Obi over there. I'd like to give you a special shout out, man. He's somebody that reached out to me to stop you, for lack of a better word, to say you'd like to be part of the hookup dinner team whenever we come to Bloem. And true to his word, he reached out. I came here last week together with CD, and we're looking for his vision. We didn't succeed. But he went out, he reached out to the same venue, and he made it happen. I don't know how, maybe because I'm not from Bloemfontein, there was bias against me. So we got the same venue purely because we reached out to other entrepreneurs. And that's essentially what it is. It's about connecting with each other and making sure that we can extend our reach where others cannot, where we cannot get it. Now, I've got these elevator pitches. How the elevator pitch works, you've got 180 seconds. You stand here, you share your business idea. The idea with it is, you've got to make sure that it's, if an investor happens to be sitting within the room, they've got to like it, it's got to make sense to them. And you've got to think about it as well, that this thing that I'm selling to the next person, would I buy it? Would I invest into this thing that I'm trying to sell to the next person in the room? If you would, the room is going to like you. And just the prizes to be won at the end of the evening. It's pretty much that simple. So we're going to have the first applicant. Oh, fancy, your handwriting. Yeah, don't tell me. Yeah. Tobile. Sweet. 180 seconds. You do your thing. The audience gives you feedback. They ask a few questions, and then they vote. And then we go on and on like that.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is THUDBloem Launch. I'm the chairman of Uncommon Business, and I'm also the president of the entire marathon. My idea is call and bring as well. That seeing that we with SAB, it's call and bring. Call and bring is an idea that it's a bottle store that works at night. We only work from 12 at night until 6 a.m. in the morning. So when they close at Cubana, we are open. You get sometimes they have parties where booze run out, and then that's where I come in. And then you just call me, and then I bring the alcohol. I deliver for free, and wherever you are in the radius of Bloemfontein, outside of Bloemfontein, then we will charge you per kilometer. Per kilometer, you have to pay us an extra $20, which is a very, very, very simple thing that you can do. When you're at a party, sometimes you go out and they want to close the Cubana and they want to go to the manager. You feel like, hey, why are you closing? It's still too early, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. and you still want to go on and drink and stuff like that. So that's when I come in. If you want to take your party, take it back at home. Sometimes you don't have alcohol. You have your house, but you don't have alcohol at your house. That's when I come in. You call me, and then I bring you 2 or 3 bottles of NAC, or I saw someone drinking some hot stuff out there. So that's when I come in, and it's a very simple idea, and it's not complicated. I won't ask you a hypothesis of this, or I see some accountants here. I want to ask you to look for this figure in a balance sheet or that. It's just a simple thing. You call and I bring the alcohol. Thank you.
Now, questions or feedback? Do we have any? Who's got a question or feedback?
Oh, hi. Maybe we should call you the Boostman. Just curious, in terms of prices, do you actually have a bill at night, or are the prices competitive? Do they change due to the nature of the day or the time of the day?
No, I mean it's fixed. It's just an extra 35% in each and every can or dumpy outside of the usual. Obviously, even if I can charge you double price, that if you are a bit tipsy, you go for me. But I always prefer to at least just more than 35% more than the usual price. I think just to get out there too quickly. Even sometimes during Makufe, sometimes people don't really want to go and drink where everyone is because it's packed. And I'm a businessman, reputation. My clients will see me at Makufe holding this and that, and it's something I wouldn't like my clients to see me at Makufe, maybe holding whatever and misbehaving out there. I would prefer a call and bring at my house and just call and say, just give me 8 or 12 bottles of NAC or whatsoever the case might be. So yeah, with price I'll be a bit lenient with you. I'll just give you 35% more than the usual price. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Boostman.
2 more.
Mr. Boostman, my name is Owen. Just need to find out, should the government legislate the consumption times? What's going to happen to your business?
It's a very good question that you have mentioned, because we also we have seen an opportunity, but we also have the responsibility as well to say the guys out there, they should drink responsibly. There was another issue that we are working with now in South Africa of legalizing marijuana, and I don't think with alcohol it has got out of hand. That I don't think a law like that now it will be legalized, because now they're working on even giving out a Sunday so that we can also sell throughout from morning until late. So it's a very good challenge which we're working on it. We're working on it as a country.
All right, 1 more.
Now my opinion is actually very different. I'm a student, and it's not particularly nice to enter into a class when one of your schoolmates are drunk. So I want to know, what are you going to do about minimizing the alcohol consumption of students themselves? Because we actually drink more than adults.
If you're a student, you should be studying. You shouldn't be touching alcohol. If you're a student, you should be reading your books, you should be studying. Tomorrow you're going to class, you shouldn't be here. You should be studying. So it's an easy thing. I mean, life is a choice. I mean, it goes back to a personal thing. I mean, that child, let's look at where the challenge started. at home. The child has got parents. The child's parents let the child to go out. And when the child is out, you understand that I'm just only the third party. That if the parent couldn't do it, his uncles, his cousins, do you understand that I'm like the fourth or fifth generation that I can't do it? So I'll try to work with the parents. However, if we can't solve the issue there.
Yeah. All right. You know what to do. You've got pens, you've got papers. Make sure that you put an X under what you believe this pitch to be. Is it a great pitch or is it a pitch that sucks? An X under one of them. Next up we've got Vusi Mabona.
Okay, for the first picture, you need to put it on the first one. That's number one. Two in the
So his name is Toby there. That's the first page. You can write the name there. I'm just going to edit. Second page is Vusi. That will be the second block beneath it. You're writing at the back. And then the third page will be Utulani. That will be number 3. And then number 4 is Lungele. Is it Lungele or Lungele? Lungele. Lungele. And then the 5th page, we've got Ki Amochetu. I said that correctly. Ki Amochetu.
Number 3 again.
So, number 2 is Busi. Number 3 is Tulani. Number 4 is Lungile or Lungele. Lungele. And then number 5, Ki Amochetu. I think it jumped in. I played that guy over there.
Good afternoon, guys. A very lovely pitch by the blues guy. My name is Vusi Mabona, and I'm originally from Joburg, so I stay in Bloem now, here to work. And my business, the name of my business is Vusa Media, and we specialize in digital advertising, digital billboards. Now, over the years, digital billboards has been, what can I say? Digital billboards has always been for traffic. I mean, you guys have seen when you're on a freeway, you'd see a digital billboard, and you don't exactly have the time to actually watch the adverts on the digital billboard. So what Vusa Media does, it seeks to change the face of digital advertising. Now we are taking it to the average person, the average pedestrian, the average hawker on the streets, the average guy, the average Joe, who has all the time to watch your advert on our digital billboards. Now the secret to this is to position our billboards in your areas like your taxi ranks. You know your taxi ranks. You have your lines there where people wait for taxis. Now while people wait for taxis, they can look at the digital billboard, and they have all the time in the world to see what you're advertising and what you're bringing to them. Now that's what Vusa Media does. We specialize in digital billboarding. Now, in order to get the, what can I say? In fact, I wasn't planning on pitching. Just the randomness. Just the randomness. It's been an idea I've been working on all along. So I just decided today that, you know what, let me just pitch. So Vusa Media is my idea. And okay, guys, I think you've heard what I wanted to say.
3 minutes is up. Can you just raise your hand high so that I can see when the time is up? All right. Questions, feedback. The gentleman on this.
All right, I just want to know how you're going to prevent the thugs from stealing your in your screen.
Okay, well, if I was a thug, I wouldn't. Okay, the screens aren't exactly your 42, 58-inch screens. They're you know, your big streets, you're too many. I wouldn't be able to carry a one.
That there are people that are doing recycling that they can sell this stuff.
Be adhered to by, say, if we have a screen at a taxi rank, we wouldn't obviously have our streets at head height. We'd have them maybe 3 meters or 3.5 meters high. You know, with a fixing bolts or what safety will definitely be adhered to.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. Bruce, I just want to know, because I think the area that you are targeting to work in is Bloemfontein, right? Not necessarily. Or
What we're targeting is your, okay, yes, Bloemfontein, but areas in Bloemfontein are your, you see the rank long distance, right? It's very busy. It's a very busy and congested area. So those are the type of areas we're targeting. And in Joburg, Street is very congested. Taxis, everything. All those people have all the time in the world to see what you're bringing onto your digital billboard, which is what we're targeting.
Okay, now I understand. I was just saying, from the Bloemfontein's perspective, that you actually thought on about how you're going to overcome the challenge we have of the taxi, because we don't have it.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen one taxi rank so far, one well-developed taxi rank. I'm not saying we're gonna go into taxi rank per se. We're just saying we're gonna go into congested areas. We have a whole lot of people, a whole lot of pedestrians who have the time to watch the adverts we are bringing onto the digital billboard.
Okay. I hope you don't pick up this time.
I hope you don't give me a nickname.
I'm just wondering, you're targeting taxi ranks. Okay, let me just understand. I've heard the safety aspects of things. Anything can be stolen, we understand. But what I do actually want to ask you about is the value return on the market. What is it? So far, what has been the value return on the market on your billboards?
So far, now, it's an idea, it's still an idea. But in terms of the, how can I say this, the approximately, how can I say it, the financial returns of the business, is that what you want to know, sir? Financial projections. Digital billboarding is, I won't say easy, but then it's a very feasible business, if I can say that. Because all you have to do is invest in your screens and invest in the security of the screens, position them in a secure place, if I can say, and then your revenue just generates from that.
Okay, I got a question for you there. Computernet already owns that space. The question that I want to ask you is, especially in Joburg, like you mentioned Joburg earlier. Yeah, how are you going to be different from them? Different from who? Computernet. They already own the taxi ranks. They already own the space.
Like I said, we're not Vulsa Media, we're not going for taxi ranks per se. We just said congested areas. And you know, Bree Street, right up to the MTN taxi rank, that whole road is congested with pedestrians, which is the target market we are going after. Obviously, we're gonna adhere to all the regulations to the digital billboarding, but
I think she's got feedback.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
I was asking, how long is it going to take for you to implement it, and how's the process going to be from saying that you start from Bloem towards other cities? How long is it going to take, and how much is it going to range-wise?
Okay. One thing we would have to look at, I think, is would have to be our monthly returns from, well, for now, up until we get our first screen. Because what we're trying to do now is we're trying to stay self-funded just until we get the first screen. So we are avoiding investors, we are avoiding all of that. So we will try other initiatives to raise funds for our first billboard. Now to get the first bill, after getting the first billboard, then on can we decide on other areas which we're going to venture into.
All right, we'll take one final question.
One final question, please.
Yeah, it's actually more a comment than a question. Just from my side, thinking as an advertiser, you need to be quite specific about your research on. You can't just say, it's a congested area. You need to be able to provide your potential advertisers with the stats of how much, how many people are seeing the ads, or the metrics. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Can we give him a...
You know what to do, Muslim. Do your thing. All right. Next pitch up, we've got Tulani Mahlangu. Can I just ask that you stand within this so that the people online can see?
Evelyn, how are you? I'm Tulani Mahlangu. I'm with Nevers from UK. Not used to the big crowds in Ghana. I've started the project here in the state Mangaung because there's a number or the rate of increase of street kids. The street kids have been neglected because everyone says, no, these boys are naughty, they run away from home, they are doing this, they want to go to their shelters and everything. They don't have a platform like any normal person who's working. Like any workers, they have the unions and whatever to represent them. But amateur kids, they don't have anyone to represent them. So in 2 weeks' time, I've started the project of trying to help them and assist them. I've opened more than almost 17 files for them, interviewing each and everyone, finding the root cause, and why did you left? They told me everything. I sat down, opened their files. Others, they left out because of various reasons, because of at home it was not good, maybe parents are fighting, or they're not living good. Others, they don't have the ID documents. I've been running around Mangaung trying to get them all. There's a dad who was detained for 18 years, doesn't have an ID. Yesterday, I took him to the Home Affairs. We processed his ID thing. There's a boy 22 years old. He lost his ID. Yesterday, I took him to the Home Affairs. I paid for his ID. His ID is being processed. He's been getting his ID in the next coming 4 days. Yesterday, almost 17 of them, district kids, because of they're sitting in a place that is called the slot here next to the court. They don't have the place is not safe. I managed to cut their hair. All of them, they were 17, to give them an image. Last week, Sunday, I took almost 17 of them with my buggy to church. We went to church, all of us, because of, we need a spiritual intervention to these boys. They are small boys, but they are very clever and brilliant. You ask yourself that why they are in the street. I spoke to my friend, he donated a soccer ball yesterday. He bought it at Croppers, Meter soccer ball. So Saturday, I'm planning to have a soccer tournament with them, maybe at the park or somewhere to keep them busy. So remember, if they are busy, they will stop using their drugs, they will stop using all these things. Last week, Saturday, we cooked for them. We almost fed more than 30 people. Driving from slot to slot, they are staying in different places here in town. From that side of Magistrate Court to that side of Small Street. People from Bufontein, they will know that. So it's a project that I'm doing alone, there's no one who's helping me, but I have a plan and a vision for it.
Start from this side.
So, how do you fund this? But by the way,
Out of my salary.
No. I was saying, I like what you guys are doing, right?
how you funding the project and how sustainable is that? And the third question, well, second question is, how do you make money out of this thing? You know, so if you could answer that, I'd really appreciate it.
The project is aimed to become an NGO. I'm still looking for people who have a passion for the community to come and become the directors so that we can run this professionally. Because remember, these boys or this group, they are staying as a group, and there they are residing with ladies. You can imagine that what's happening. So we need to arrange a proper shelter for them. We need to go to them and listen to their needs. That what is their need? What do they need? Because if the government tried to intervene, it tried there and there and there. I'm funding the project out of my own salary. I'm putting petrol with my own money in my own car and running around helping them. Any question?
Yes, I have a question. Firstly, what's the name of your company?
The company, currently, because of the project, like I said, it was born 2 weeks back. But if you follow me on, there's some other things, photos and records that I keep to show that I've been doing the work on the ground. You follow me on Facebook, my name is Tulani Kajak. You see all the pictures that for the job that I was doing on the ground. I have a receipt for Home Affairs for the guy that I paid for him to get his ID. And the other guy, he must go back on the 17th next month because of he lost his ID and he doesn't have an ID. So they must capture his fingerprints to Pretoria, then they must bring back his number so that we can apply.
Oh, a follow-up question, sorry. I wanted to know, is it counseling? Is it a home? Is it what's the vision?
Currently, because of I have a full vision of it. The whole process and the future, how it's going to be sustained for the future. I'm trying to bring people, relevant people on board to come and run this as an NPO, non-profit organization. If you want to become a part of this thing, you must know that there's no Range Rover here. There's no CLA here. It's community first. You do this because of you love the kids. Don't discriminate them that they are dating, they smell. Go to their level. Go to the root cause. Find the root cause. What is the root cause that this small boy is so clever but it's at the street? Why? Ask yourself that why is he at the street? Maybe it's gonna be you tomorrow to your house.
Oh, sorry, my brother. No, I just wanted to give you a bit of advice. And I think you should approach some of the newspapers that you have, the local newspapers, so everyone can see the amazing work that you're doing.
Yeah, I'm busy working on that, but I want to do a groundwork first. Before I run to the media or to whoever, I must feel the pain at the ground first. And know that how it's painful. Okay. On my studies, I'm doing my master's level at UOPS. It takes time. It's demanding. And I'm also working, and I'm interpreting. You know, it takes time. So I need people who have passion for the community to come on board, relevant people, not just to come and pull the money out.
My name is Lebohan Zulchulani. It's good what you're doing. I really liked it. But my question is that, what do you see these kids in 5 years to come? Are you only gonna spoon feed them, or are you seeing them as capable people that gonna work for themselves, basically? That's what I'm really asking.
There's a one that I opened his file last week. I just met him now at Pick and Pay. He's clean. He's clean. Yes, I'm happy to see that. We want to feed them. We're gonna try to keep them busy with a lot of activities, sports, training. By a profession, I'm a soldier. I know how to keep a person to train. I know how to keep the discipline. I'm still disciplined. I don't play. They know if I found them heading to a group, I buried and they cry. They know. Even after a year, I'm going to pass and check them out. They're my kids.
Last question, brother. How you doing? Sure. So I'm so happy to see you here because you were at Pretoria the last time. Yeah. And if there's one thing I've never been confused with you about is the passion that you have for development and the drive that you have, right? And
And I want you to keep that, but I also want you to keep in mind as well that you're trying to start a business, mate, all right? And when you're pitching something like that, the first thing that I want to advise you on is stop trying to convince us about what you're doing and get to the fact of what it is that you're doing, yeah? And listen, Chief, yeah? The lady was asking you a question. You answered before she could even finish the question. As a result, you find yourself kind of, it sounds like you're waffling a bit. So you need to be able to listen, take the time, and then answer, but shortly, yeah, and get to the point. My second thing as well is that you're doing too many things. You're a soldier, you're helping kids, you're trying to start a business as an entrepreneur and so forth. There's a conversation I had with you, and I said, you need to focus. Focus your energies on one thing. I understand the drive. If it's education and studying, stick to that and still be able to support people or the kids or whatever the case may be. Because for me, I feel like you've spread yourself too thin. And if I had money right now, it would be difficult for me to invest in the good cause that you're doing because I don't know who's running what it is that you're doing. So just try and focus your energies into one thing and then be able to then take it slowly from there. The world's not going to end. You're not going to die. Touch wood. You're not going to die soon. But take it easy, have a focus point, know exactly what you want, and then we can actually buy into what is it that you want to be able to do. But thanks for the pitch.
Sir Anthony.
I love this platform, right? It's hot up here. You know what to do. Vote. If you think his pitch was great, you would click on you would put an X under 5. If you think no thanks, it's work, do accordingly. Next up, we've got Lungele Mulani. And if you can, just share your Twitter handles so that people can follow you and can continue the conversation on it.
Good evening, everyone. Now, my idea concerns the artist. How many of you have seen an independent artist come out of South Africa? Right? There's a few, but it's a handful, right? It's not a group. It's probably someone who just sprouts out of the blue, like Lira or Kulichana or AKA. What about the people at the bottom? What I noticed is when I was researching about how the art industry works in America is they give you a whole lot of money to make sure you sign the contract, and you end up finding out that that whole lump sum of money is actually not yours, even though you're allowed to spend it. That's why you will end up with an artist who dies with nothing. Like the greatest pop artist who ever lived, Michael Jackson, dies with absolutely zilch. So I came up with an idea. I said, okay, what does the artist need? Most artists think that if they're good, they should try and get someone to sign them. I think that's the biggest mistake. If you're good, be independent. Make sure the company comes to you. Make sure the money comes to you. Make sure the world comes to you. The money works for you. So what we do is we help the artists become independent. We teach them a bit about the law. We teach them a bit about how to market themselves. And we teach them a bit about how to improve themselves as an artist. We market for them. We make videos for them. We do photography for them. And we help them start their own company. Our main position is the middleman, but this middleman is very flexible because he also takes you from the beginning, helps you grow, puts you in front of him so that he can be your client at the end. Because once these artists have formed their own independent brands and companies, we now help them get more artists for their companies. For example, a gallery for a painter. If this painter grows and gets his own company going and gets his own gallery going, he's going to need more artists. We are busy making more artists. We are busy helping more artists grow, which means if we find another painter, we know where to send him. And the best part about our company is, it helps the artist start his own company where he grew up. Because that's the main problem about South Africa. We're always heading to the bigger city. We're always heading to the busier city. We're always thinking our town is too small. We end up with artists that pop up in Joburg and pop up in Cape Town, but we don't know where they came from.
Questions, feedback?
Volane, first thing, I'm not sure if I understand the word independent.
I think Michael Jackson in his death now, he just made about 750 million
From the grave.
So I think you're artist and you're artist, so they're not independent.
Okay, I'm gonna answer you as fast as I can. First of all, the reason why Michael Jackson made so much money after he died is because Sony came to the family and said, listen, he was very famous and everyone loves him, so let's help you make money to carry on while he's gone, because he can't make you any money anymore. But you'll find out that about 75% of that money actually went back to the company again, because they did the marketing, they did the shows, they sold the DVDs for This Is It. Do you understand? The artist has to be independent. The only way the artist can be independent is if he forms and becomes his own brand.
And I'm sorry, I don't know if I heard you correct. You said you want your artist to be independent, and let's say I'm your artist, and then you find other artists who come under me. So how are they independent if they're under me?
Here's where we tackle it. Now, when we provided the service for you, we showed you the guidelines, we created the foundation, and then you grew it. Now, the next artist that comes to you, because we are one company, and we helped you have your own company. Now you can help this artist because of your experience as that type of artist grow exactly as a mentor.
Over there. Hi, I'd just like to ask a question really quick. How different is your concept to Herbalife, green tea, that sort of pyramid scheme? Because what you say is that you're going to provide a professional service to a client, and then who's ultimately also going to provide a professional service to another. And how long do you think it would take for you to be able to say, okay, I've done enough mentoring, or I've had enough of your money, now you can go do it to somebody else? Because I understand that what the average black person is 2 years now, targeting 15-year-olds like young Prince. I heard on the Twitter the other day with a ridiculous amount of money on just one hand, 30 grand. How long do you think it would take for you to be able to mentor somebody into an independent entrepreneur? And how different is that from green tea?
It's going to take a while because this question is very elaborate. Okay. Now, on the pyramid scheme question, here's how we work. Normally in a pyramid scheme, the guy at the top stays at the top, right? In our scheme now, well, it's not a scheme. It's not a scheme. But anyway, in our pyramid, his section of the pyramid branches off on its own. It's like one pyramid creating another pyramid that stands on its own, which is going to create another pyramid that stands on its own. And the good part about this is all these pyramids are connected, which means every artist knows which pipeline to go into. If you're a painter, the pipeline that you go into is specifically for painters, which means that environment is specifically catered for you, even though it's connected to other venues, because I said we market for them as well, we promote for them as well. Which means now that I, as a poet, I can go to the artist who paints and say, hey, I want to work with you. I can go to the singer and say, hey, I want to work with you. And the problem with the big record company now is they walk around like a big-chested monkey and say, hey, I'm supposed to provide you with everything. And everyone's supposed to come to me for anything. But now the difference here is, once these pyramids happen, individual pyramids happen, or how long? I'm an example. I've been in Bloem for 2 years. I started performing last year. Now, our company has supplied me with my own portfolio. My video is in the works, and I've already started my own company, CNH. That's 2 years. Now I'm projecting that by next year, I can qualify for the Golden Beans Award. I can qualify for Metro FM. Once I get to a platform like that, once you get to a platform where more than 10,000 people are viewing you on the internet, you are now capable of selling yourself as a product. Thank you.
Last one, but I'm very impressed by your presentation skills. I think you're so spot on. You listen very well, you answer very articulately. With that, it would have been great if I was an artist and I heard you speak that fluently. It would not run shy. And the reason why I'm saying that is because perception is everything, my king. How you look and how you speak needs to correspond. Yeah, I feel that you need to do a bit of kind of your brand on your own and your own image and how you look. When I translate it to how you speak, I almost want to close my eyes and listen as opposed to looking, because you need to be able to represent what you're talking about. Why? Because it translates to what you're offering to people. People believe in perception. People believe in perception. How you look is what I believe. If you're going to sell me a dream, let me see it from you and feel that you can be that example for me. Perception is everything. Yeah?
I can.
I could challenge that though. But seriously, I think the brother is speaking to his tribe. Maybe you're not the target audience. Richard Branson doesn't wear shoes, and then he wears sneakers with a jacket. So again, perception, like it doesn't mean how we dressed is the way to go. I'm just saying. No, it's not about big enough. Most Def, this guy looks like Most Def too. Most Def doesn't dress exactly like this, and he made his money. So, question. Now, last pitch. Can we just regroup quickly? Last pitch of the evening. We've got. Sorry, gents. Can we have one dialogue? Thank you. Last pitch of the evening. Can you come up, please?
Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Amofe Junior. I am the CEO of the Matriarch Publishing and Productions. What we basically focus on is the retail, the fashion, and the hospitality industries. These are things that are close to me. I like fashion, I like creative things, I like beautiful things. And there's been many times that I step into a store and I think, but I wouldn't try to put that there. Say, maybe if you could say, then people would notice it more. What we do is exposure, and what we do is engagement. We expose you through the catalog, and we further expose you, depending on the package you choose, on platforms such as social media. So we'll have a deal site where every day we basically just putting your brand in people's faces, buy this, and yeah, all of that. Engagement, how do we do that? We have events and initiatives around the different catalogs. Obviously, there will be a decor catalog, there will be a fashion catalog, there will be a hospitality one. So to make sure that people pay attention to this, we will bring you to events. For instance, for the fashion one, we kind of push the Enrich Girls, the Enrich Matric Girls Camp, in which we'll go to schools, about 50 schools in the province, and they will have sort of an exhibition set up. So the people that advertise in the fashion catalog, and then have their things there, obviously at
another living package. Everything there, and we're also just pushing in this initiative that support a matric girl that they can go to a camp. Obviously, we'll combine that with the education side of things. We are in matric, the important grade, and so that at the end of the camp, they get a publication. They leave with a nice experience of their matric because that will be captured on the social media, they're telling us the experiences, showing us their dresses, and also they'll be sharing their years for studying and all that, and also just how our workbook, that's going to be the publication, how it helped them through their exams and all that. Yes, some time. Okay, so where would we put our publications? If it was the hospitality one, obviously it goes hand in hand with travel. So we put it at the airport, for instance, so that when people touch base with things that we know where what trying to do first thing. Yeah, and the deco side of things, we'd have initiatives like a model series where you can, for instance, if you're interested in culture, then over a series of weeks, you can purchase a certain publication that comes out with a certain part of the model. Then at the end, obviously, you'll have a nice pouch that you created yourself. Yeah. 3 minutes? Yeah.
You don't have to go for 3 minutes. Once you feel that your pitch is done, can we take feedback? Questions?
All right, nice to see. I just want to know, I didn't get it clearly. Are you doing a magazine or are you in fashion, decor, and hospitality?
Okay. We are in all three of them, because for me, if you combine them, that's what you can call lifestyle. So, sorry? Yeah, that's what you can call lifestyle. So we'll have, to start off with, they'll be in one publication just so that, because obviously we won't have that many advertisers to start off with. But once each industry grows, then they'll be their own catalog. It will be a catalog like the ones that you get by the thousands that you get from the house. But the clients in there will be these stores in the CBD that we see that are nice stuff, but it's dead. There's no people that actually know that, oh, they make different ottomans, like they do furniture. Over there, they make nice ottomans. I don't think they got enough exposure, so that's the platform that trying to push through this. So I don't know if I asked you correctly. They are in all three and do catalogs, tabloid size.
Right, how much do you charge?
Okay, it depends. Now, I don't know how much I'm gonna get myself in trouble because I don't know how many people I did for anything. But for a 12-page catalog, that would be 15,000 events from my side for 5,000 copies. If I broke that down by 1.5 centimeter blocks, and I charged, I think it's 12 grand, I make a 300% profit from it. So yeah, so that's 60,000 in 1 month, which I feel. And yeah, so it would depend on how big the average you want. We have the smallest, obviously, then we can go as far as the center forward. So how big you are and how big the quantity.
All right, next question.
My name is G32, Gorilla 32. Since everybody's doing like marketing and everything electronically, nobody's really using like catalogs and hard copies. So how sure are you that your product is in demand?
Okay. Well, if you look at the people that are actually spending, for instance, let's say in decor, that would be, for instance, my mother. My mother has actually, about social media and all that. If I deliver that product at her house and I'm not just saying, hey, I'm okay, this is what I've done. Hey, I'm innocent, this is all I've done. I'm saying these are all the different spots in town, and I'm saying if the advertiser chose to go for a certain deal, we highlight that in the catalog, that there's a deal for you. So such and such off. With the social part of things, what's happening is that, like I said, we'll have a deal site. So all the deals, you'll refresh them every day. If you have something going on, if you slashed off a certain price, then the people, the young people, students, can go to the deal site for that. Obviously through social media and other media. And yeah, people like you could use put in place. So as far as social media, I just opened the accounts last week. You can follow them. It will be at New Fashion SA, at New Hospitality SA, yeah, New Deco SA. Me, Authentic New Soul on Twitter, and on Facebook it's New Soul Kiamukhi.
Final.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Okay, I need to ask something. Firstly, before I ask, I would like to welcome your presentation. So the question that I think I would like to ask is, can you share with us how do you structure your prices? Because the challenge is with most businesses, you find that they would just think of prices out of their heads, and that has got an adverse impact on their business continuity program.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, currently, have you reached your break-even point? So meaning, can you say you got the return on your investment thus far, or do you have a long way to go?
I have a long way to go because I haven't started. I was put on the spot, guys. But you asked about what? Pricing. That's what you asked about. As I said, how I calculated the 1.5 centimeter by 1.5 centimeter block, how much I would make. So it would depend on you. There's a certain minimal size that we would have, that you can't obviously go under that. And then they go up. It would depend on how, like those blocks, if we add 2 more, obviously it has to be in an even way. Now we're talking geometry. But it has to be in an even way, you know. So maybe if you want, let's say, 8 of those blocks, then it would add up to that money that I told you about, the 12 rands per block, times those 8 blocks, and that would be the standard cost or the fixed cost for that space of yours for advertising. Then if you want something else, like if you want to place a special deal badge sort of on your ad, then that's additional as well. Then if you stuff like that, basically.
I was going to close it, but the gentleman is pushing. I hope it's quality, but that's what I know. So you do for the audio.
My sister, 2 questions. Firstly, if I was a client, what guarantee do I get that you'll get my message across? Secondly, in terms of your marketing, it sounds a little bit diluted, especially your Twitter handle now, saying it's something at SA, whereas you're in Bloom, you target the people in Bloom. Why not direct your marketing in terms of your surrounding area?
Okay. Well, the aim is to get to the entire South Africa in future, so I don't see the need of starting with SS. If I have somebody from all the Free State, if I have somebody from Limpopo, what should I do now? I just feel that obviously it's creative stuff, it's beautiful stuff. So obviously we'll be talking about, let's say I see something I like on social media and I share it on my Twitter handle. It wouldn't just be relevant to the people in the Free State, for instance. It will be relevant to anybody that loves beautiful things. Said about guarantee. We put it basically, frankly, we put it in the customer's face. Take it to their homes. We choose certain townships, put them in their faces, like whether we do an activation where we actually go into their houses and hand it to the person who owns the house or who's got the money, or we put them in their post boxes or whatnot. It does not really matter. And like the deal site, like I said, that's how we're gonna push it. The deal site, putting in people's faces all the time.
All right, guys. Just the final pitch. Put your X. Once you've voted, tear this down the middle. We would like to take this part of the page back so that we can tally the votes. Now, whilst we're doing that, so as soon as you've done that, just please pass the other part of the paper this way, and our team will be doing the collections on this side. Let's just make sure that we collect it from this side. Now, quickly, feedback from 5 people. Was this valuable? Do you think this is something that is useful? And why? I would like to hear your voice. Can you come up so that whatever you're sharing can be shared with our online community? Thank you. I'll share again. Anybody else? On the pitches, on the elevator pitches specifically.
Okay, once more, good evening, everyone. I think from the 5 presentations that we had on the pitches, one learned valuable lessons. First of all, is that as entrepreneurs we are different, and then as a result, you can always learn something about a certain segment of the market. And like today, in my work, I'm more into consultancy, and as an accountant, I'm also doing a bit of accountancy. So I've discovered that I can actually offer my accounting services to a lot of people in here, especially when it comes to costing of services and as well pricing. Because what I've discovered is that some of the ideas, they are great, but we need to attach the monetary value to ensure that there is sustainability. And then the other thing is from a perspective of projects, I believe that what I could get from some of these ideas is that there was a lot of background work which was done, and then so it shows that we have the skill. We just need to believe in that, and I'm more motivated to, as a startup, to also look at my ideas and not to take anything for granted. Yeah, because the sky is the limit.
Thank you. So you can get hooked up. We've got accounting services in the room, so you know who to chat to. My brother, please come up.
Evening. My name is Lunis. I'm from UCS Business. I truly think this is a really good initiative, especially because you guys have partnered with the SAP Kickstart. And according to your website, this is a platform for those who make it through the hookup dinner, get automatic qualification into the Kickstart. So you guys are getting an added advantage because you guys are being polished here. Many of the people who go to the Kickstart haven't been critiqued, haven't stood in front of an audience who are going to test the idea. So whoever makes it here and goes towards the Kickstart already have an added advantage. So I think this is good because many entrepreneurs don't get polished first. You know, you still go in the rough and you get there and then they critique you much more harshly than what they did here. Then you feel like it's the end of the world and it's not good. So I think it's really good. I do get a sense, though, that many of the entrepreneurs, especially those that have presented here, aren't already in business, aren't really registered, aren't formalized yet. So this is an opportunity to meet consulting companies who can advise them on how to get into the mainstream, and get started. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate that feedback.
Hi, thank you very much. I actually heard about the hookup dinner yesterday, but I made it. The business in China. But yeah, I got it. Anyway, thank you very much. What you guys are doing is really great. It's much similar to what I'm doing. In short, I'm not selling my business, but we have.
Feedback on the elevator pitch specifically.
Yes, but I'll just 5 minutes.
No.
50 seconds. 50 seconds. My company, we call it the Black Pencil Group. We're targeting and creating young entrepreneurs. We have a workshop on the 2nd, coaching, two-day workshop, 80 bucks. Yours, we train young entrepreneurs. We have Chris and Suzanne, professional international coaches. So, thank you very much.
Talk about taking. Carpe diem, right?
On the pictures that came, I would like to only say a few things. One, your ideas, spot on. But one flaw, if it's really your passion, know everything about it. Everything. Thank you.
I'd like to hear feedback from a lady. I don't know why ladies in this room kind of shrinking. And she's been giving great feedback. Can we get more?
Alright, good evening everyone. My name is Feza Gamaboso. My business is called Feza's Food and Car Wash. And I think this was a great evening for me, especially the feedback that we get from the audience. And I think you should come back again. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to take two more. Can I take a lady first? Do you mind? Thank you. Please.
Hello, my name is Gloria Rakani. My company is THUDBloem manufacturing plastic or steel, designing everything. Yeah, like I did mechanical engineering. So if you need anything mechanical, you can call it. I can weld. Yeah. So today I think first I just had a lot of things at 5 o'clock. I just needed time. Like, I want to come here and and I'm inspired to see so many people here who are doing, who are studying their business and everything. Yeah.
Thank you. We'll take one. Okay, two. Hello, everyone. My name is BC. I heard about the book of dinner from Aubrey. I question everyone, but they're not coming up with solution. So feel the passion there.
Evening, everybody. My name is Pearl. I'd like to thank the team for coming today. It's really helped us. I've learned a lot as far as business is concerned, and I'm very glad that whatever that I've learned today, I will use in the future.
Right, evening, everyone.
It's just the first segment, guys. There's still a new.
All right, evening everyone. My name is Billy Koshoko, CEO of Perfectly Posh Events. All I have to say on the pitches is that your idea is your currency, acting on it is your wealth.
Just some feedback about people pitching. Well done on taking the initiative to come and stand up in front of a crowd of people that you might not know. And the other thing for everyone else, if you've got an idea or you've got a business, always be ready to pitch it. Know what you need, know what you want, and know where you're going.
Awesome. I'm sorry. You can write the feedback on the page, right? Or you can tweet it to us. Can engage further. All right. The next part of the program is what excites me personally about the hookup dinner. The reason being, it removes the focus from the front and it takes it to the community, which is us within this room. Now, this segment, we call it the networking mixer. And the reason
I fell in love with it. It's for one simple reason. I'm a serial networker. I've been to so many networking functions. But on average, I walk out knowing 2, maybe 3 people. And sometimes you find that the 3 people that I got to know there were of no value to me. And they were waffling on, and you know when somebody has got you in a vice and now they're talking to you? For the next 10 minutes, you're like, yeah, you don't even know how to get out. Now, it challenged me personally because I felt like I'm wasting my time going to networking functions. I'm spending my petrol. I'm having to fight with my person in the house. You know, there's so many things. Like, you're making excuses that I'm going to a business networking function. But are you coming out with nothing? You're meeting all the whole you know? So that's how the networking mixer came about. We thought, how about we spin this and do it a bit differently for ourselves? Solve our own problems. So how I decided to solve my problem and found out that there's other people like me that had a similar problem that we literally solved was that we're going to group up into groups of 10. There's about 57 to 60 of us in the room. So that means about 6 groups will form around within this room randomly. Make sure that you go to a group of people you do not know. I know that some people say Bloemfontein is a small town. But how many people know each other in this room just by a show of hands? See, very small. So make sure that you go to a group of people that you do not know, you haven't met before, and that you feel like it might be intimidating to go to them. The people that you feel like it's intimidating, that's exactly where you should be going. You group up in those groups of 10, you introduce yourself. You've got a minute each within the group to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and why you're here. The key thing out of this is not what you're out here to get. It's how can I contribute? How can I contribute to the next person? How can I help you to make what you do better? Do you know what that does? It lets the defense mechanism down of the person that you engage in. Because naturally, we expect people to be asking us for things that we become defensive and we're like, hey, hold on. At the moment, I ask you, how can I assist you to make what you do better? Or what do you need? It changes the mindset and the game. And all of a sudden, you've got direct access to this person. And by assisting them, you assist yourself because they're going to think about you. Because it's not necessarily what normally happens out there. So let's make sure that we do that. And a minute each. If somebody goes over a minute, what does that do? Within 10 minutes, we get back here, we share the keynote. Once we're done with the formalities and we're having food and drinks, you know what it does now? Oh, you said you're in plumbing. All of a sudden, you've got an icebreaker. Now you can engage with this person without having to say, oh, so what do? You don't even know this person. Now you've got something to relate to because you remember that this person said they do X, Y. And then it breaks the ice. All of a sudden, you know 10 new people that you didn't know before. Very valuable. Trust me, if you do it right, you guys are going to love it. 10 groups, let's split up randomly around the room. Some of you can come here. I mean, there's a lot of space here. Random groups of 10 within the room. Let's move fast. Groups, not individuals. Groups of 10. The space up here in front, you can come and come here. Groups of 10, not individuals. Groups. Group format. Offensive. Offensive. Groups of 10, guys. Move fast. 10. You see the shots here. And I know ladies are really gravitating towards each other. Oh, ladies, that is something wrong. Go to where the men are. That's what the connection is. Trust me. Groups of 10. Gents. I'm only seeing gents here. Can I have 2 ladies this side and 2 gents on this side? Oh, but I'm seeing 1. Can I have 2 ladies going in? Can I have 2 gents come this side? I want to make sure you benefit. 2 gents from here. Can you go to that group? Come, guys. Group. Introduce yourself. If somebody goes over a minute, cut them. It's your time.
Oh, cool. My name is Owen.
Hi.
What do you do? I make beer.
Business.
What I have is an idea. So here's the thing. I'm gonna start clothing. I realized like this t-shirt they promote a bad message. Every day. So I wanna bring a new thing into this. So this every bought my t-shirts and so I wanna bring a new thing. So I wanna bring
My name is Vanyani Kaiji. I actually work here. I have two companies. The first one is German Corporation Society. My profession, I'm a qualified chartered accountant. The other company, like I said, I have two companies.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley. And I've got some ideas. So, I have
Sales and management. So basically what we do is promote companies and take them out there via the internet social networks, and we also create websites, we also create custom videos. Maybe let's say we shoot like a pre-ad. And we shoot so that you can see the potential that
Yeah, guys, let me join the conversation, yo.
Now we actually
And then we have an event management department where you promote all the launches and we actually run the private, and then we have marketing and we do the image. What is for how we plan to give away whereas your corporate so you are we also have very mission to move and then the fourth one is that of business support. When you're not sure what you're actually doing right now, and to make it right. And then the second one is
I'm a foreigner. Currently working for a company so I travel to the United States.
So let's do 4 minutes, guys. 4 minutes, please. Use it effectively.
I work in construction. We try to
which actually so as far as international setup goes, we have coach, we have chefs, certified, so I think we should get that system.
Because we're basically working on that. We already have like a couple of actors. I think we got 8 already. We're going to shoot like
But it's for entrepreneur. How do you access money? Even other clients have been. Our company is UCS business actually. Those guys have plenty. So, but it's business expert. Just giving access to franchising opportunities, funding opportunities. And many entrepreneurs always think that when they start business, all they choose to get funding, sometimes we don't even know apply for it. What they need maybe is to get contracts to how to set your business up. We've got in contact with clients. I have 2 of mine. One of the guys here has got clients, some of them
$60 seconds left.
incumbents?
30 seconds.
I'm studying news.
All right, guys, can we get back to our seats? We're going to continue this after the keynote. Let's take our seats again.
I need to check you in.
Let's take our seats, guys. All right, let's take our seats. Let's regroup, guys. Pugs, could you just let them know there's a new link, the other one dropped online, especially Jackie. Now, I want to know, what did you think of that? Any value? Was there enough time? Good. That's the whole point. Shouldn't have enough time so that you can continue conversations on your own beyond this room. Now, I'm hoping that you exchange business cards. I'm hoping that you're following each other on Twitter and you're connecting on social media. Why? So that you can make those connections valuable. Let's regroup, guys, so that we can close the official program and then continue with the informal network. Can I ask that at the back, we regroup respectfully? Thank you. All right. This month's topic, or rather this month's theme, across the country, we've done THUDBloem, which is the first Friday of the month, and we launched Victor Khemweswana's book called Africa is Open for Business, and he shared some great insights about what's happening up north. And for us that are already doing some business across the border, it's an eye-opener. It's a book that I would recommend that you go and get at the nearest exclusive books or anywhere else. Like, it's that critical. It's going to open up your worldview to a whole new world of opportunity out there, as well as know the pitfalls and where not to go. As we launched the book, what we wanted to do, we wanted to carry on with the theme throughout the country. We wanted to share the same conversation in Cape Town. We did Cape Town last week, Friday. We couldn't, because we couldn't take the author down. So for the cities where we can't bring the author, we decided to localize the theme and rather focus on exploring, let me read it properly, exploring entrepreneurial opportunities in the startup area. What does that mean for us? Like, where are the opportunities for me as a startup? And what am I missing? What am I not looking out for? What should I be doing that I'm not doing? What is happening in the minds of corporate decision makers? When I get in front of them and I'm saying I'm writing or pitching a proposal, what's going on? Are they even considering me as soon as I walk through the door? Or am I already discarded before I even start? What is going on? And who better to share that than our own corporate Bansuna, Octavius, who makes decisions on some of the entrants that come through the SAP Kickstart program. That's how we decided to touch on this and kind of focus more on it and see what is it that we need to be tapping into that we're not doing. So as the conversation goes on, as he shares a bit of some of the insights that go on, share the conversation on Twitter, follow him. His Twitter handle is @Mushaboloko. It's in your programs. So if you go on the page that you left with, that you've kept, you will see a Twitter handle there. Follow him because he normally shares a lot of great insights. Follow @TheHookUpDinner as well. Follow the Twitter hashtag THUDBloem and share the conversation. Let's make sure that other people get to know that conversations about entrepreneurship are going on and there's young people that are serious about progress and moving forward. Chief, the stage is yours.
Where's my walk-up song?
You sound so sleepy.
Where's the song? And this is birthday eve, eh? It's gonna get back. You understand? Okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yes, you can play it as I exit the stage. I think that could work out well. So I'm best known for walking to stage dancing and doing all this other ruckus nonsense and whatnot. You know, excuse me, I'm suffering a little bit from flu. I think I'm coming back. The Cape Town trip wasn't as friendly as it usually is to my health because of the good things that we get up to that other side. I think they're good things. So thank you guys. We're excited as SAB to be coming to bringing Bunker Dinner down here. I think a lot of guys, a lot of people across the country think Fontaine and Kimberley and Rustenburg and the smaller towns. There's no energy from young people. There's no youth culture there. The innovation is too low. But I think you guys have been amazing today. It's a picture what came through. Incredibly amazed. Hopefully some of you guys can come through the Kickstart program. I think we've got one or two guys here who are sitting in the audience and come through the Kickstart program. Although there wasn't a hookup dinner before. So yeah, I'm personally excited. I know as SAP in the region, it's such a region in Bloemfontein. We're excited that you guys have come forward. I've supported Tammy Binder there, I've supported Femelo, the guys that have come through the SAP Kickstart. I've gotten the support from our program. And then I think the really much grow. So I think they come through and pitch tonight. Hopefully they can go on and apply to Kickstart next year. So guys, I think I've paid for my dues. I've paid my salary. I've earned my salary with that talk. So can I get to my talk tonight? Can I start with my talk tonight? Okay, cool. So the fact that you pitched here doesn't give you a guarantee to Kickstart competition. Let's start there. It does not guarantee you that you're going to come into the SAP Kickstart program. No, it doesn't. You still have to go through a lot of gates and convince us. And we're not popular. We're not easily convincible if you're not such a unit. We're always looking for guys willing to status quo. The guys that are willing to come up with things that we've never seen before, the guys that we can easily and proudly put on a world stage and compete there. Does that make sense? 2 months ago I came back from Japan with a gentleman from Sasol Bank and had come through the Kickstart program. He came third in the national awards. We gave him 150 and a 100,000 sponsored to Japan. He is into welding and trains artisans, right? Now we're willing to go that far if you're willing to put in the hard work and do the things that are not popular, right? So the quick things that are easy to do. We're looking for the unusual guys, the guys that are willing to go from But I think for the purpose of my talk today, I want to highlight some of the things that we always look for when people come through to our program, but the people that we're also willing to do business with. We've been known to invite guys and get them into our supply chain of the work that we do as Kickstarter. So the social media, for example, it's run by former Kickstarter, and a number of other things that we do for ourselves as SAB. And a lot of guys, from the pitch tonight, and I always say, and how you pitch, and this is the reality, by the way, so you can argue with it all you want, right? So when you pitch, and that's the first thing, when we pitch, as investors or as potential clients, we're not looking for somebody that's asking for donations, right? That must be made very clear. I am sitting on the other side of the table. I've got my money, I've got my budget. Now, you need to convince me if you're giving me value. If you're not giving me value, I can tell you today, right? Your story can be as so amazing and so heartwarming as possible as it can. But if I don't see the value with what I want to do with my money, I can tell you right now today, it's not going to happen. Right? Now, I've judged a number of competitions. We just judging one yesterday called the Getting the Rings, like Dagestan. Last night in Joburg, we do a lot in Cape Town and across the country. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs, and I always say to them, and how you deliver the pitch, right? You've got to invite the potential client or the investor, right? So it mustn't be, look, I'm looking for help, I'm struggling, I can't do these things because it's difficult, I'm a young person, I'm from a poor family. Hey, my man, I've got my $1 million, I don't give a fuck. Right? So this is how a lot of guys miss the point. So when I pitch it in the way that, as I'm sitting on the other side, I'm thinking, shit, I'm missing out on an opportunity here. So I'm saying to the guys, for example, you sit in front, you say, look, my name is Octavius, my name is OP, and we've got this cool gadget that we've created. And we think this cool gadget is going to revolutionize how people live in Bloemfontein. And I want you, as an investor, to come and benefit, to come in and be part of this amazing journey. I want you to come and experience the amazing work that we're going to be doing so that you can be part of the history. You can be part of the pioneering team. I'm inviting you because this, I can tell you, in the next 15 years, you have given us this amount of value. Thank you. That's the first pitch, right? It's got nothing to do with whether how many people at home who are struggling with food and whatnot. It's got nothing to do with that. Because I'm telling you right now, and see, the important thing is, this is the reality of the investment space. This is the reality because you guys are competing with many people. As SAB, as I'm sitting that side, you're saying, look, I do events. And do you know how many people come to me every day saying they do events? You know, I have like 5 people every day. You count that in a month. And you come and tell me you do events. So, okay, so you do events. So, what can happen now? You know? Must I give you a contract because you are in Bloemfontein? But you know those kind of, so it's very key that how you position your pitch, right? Is it in such a manner that you give a compelling message and a compelling invitation, like a strong business case to the person that is sitting on the other side, right? So that's very key. I just want to comment on the pitches that came tonight. Some of the things that also we've got a problem with when we're sitting on the other side is you've got to be solving a problem, guys, right? You've got to be solving, and it may sound very easy, right? But as I dissect it, a lot of guys struggle to identify or even convince me what problem are they exactly solving. And when you're solving the problem, it doesn't matter the size of the problem, by the way, right? It's whether you're solving a problem or not, it's not defined by the quantity and the delta of the problem. So the problem could be so small, but it could still be solving a problem. And the problem could be so big, it could still be solving a problem. Does that make sense? Right? But you've got to be clear yourself what problem you're solving. That's the first thing. Second thing, now the problem that you are solving, or you're saying you're solving, right? there already exist alternatives to those problems. Does that make sense? Let me put an example. So somebody could say, look, there's a problem about convenience of using PCs and connections and all those kind of other things. And therefore, I want to create a tablet where we can move around and whatnot. So that's iPad, maybe iPhone, or Apple is saying all those things, right? But already people are living while that problem is existing, right? So the people are able to find alternatives, even if the problem of not having the convenience of using your PC is there. Does that make sense? Right? That's all like intricate considerations that come with with you, proposing how you want to deal with us as investors, or us as clients, or us as partners, right? Now, what is also key is, as you say that, now I'm asking you, how do you then want to solve this problem that already has alternatives? So you've got a problem that you're saying you're solving. So, last week here, I was sitting through the SAP Kickstart interviews for 2 days, on Thursday and Friday, right? Guys come like, yeah, we're more than a car wash. Okay. So what problems are we solving? Like, no, we take car wash to the people. Right? But people are still washing their cars. Even if you don't do what you do, they find a way to wash their cars. So what are we solving? Like, nah, but we're taking the services to them. Like, yeah, but people still wash their damn freaking cars. So what is the solution? Right? The guy doesn't come to the party. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, Chief, look, the way that I'm expecting you to solve this problem, right, it's going to be in such a way that considers the reality right now. It takes the fact that people are more confident, are more comfortable to take their cars on a normal Saturday and have their bride there and whatnot. So you see, that's the normal way people live. So now you're bringing something that is disruptive to how they live. Right? So now, what are you saying? What I'm saying to you guys, you've got to bear that in mind. It's going to come out very, very strong. But providing a solution to this problem that already has alternatives is not enough, right? It's not enough because you've got to understand what then is your unique selling proposition. And I know I always want to pull my little afro out when people can't define in a single sentence. I do not want a thesis, no. I don't want a report, I don't want a research. I just want you in one sentence. What is that unique selling proposition? What is that single clear message that is so compelling, that the person on the other side sees value and worth in spending their money, either to buy your service or to invest in your service? Does that make sense? Right? Now, a lot of people don't know. You know why they don't know? Because they haven't invested time to find out what exactly is unique about their services. Or maybe they conveniently don't want to even know. You're asking difficult questions. No, it's fine. It's fine. You're asking difficult questions. I'm not going to do those things. Look, I'm just doing media and communications. It's media events. That's what I'm doing. What's unique? What's unique? People can't. And I'm telling you right now, guys, what you guys have got to bear in mind is we've benchmarked ourselves with the world out there, with what other young people are doing in Bogota in Colombia, in Buenos Aires in Argentina, in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil,